Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Peas and today I'm going to be talking about the 2026 Irish folk horror film Hokum, starring Adam Scott. You know the fella, the brother of Will Ferrell in Step Brothers, as well as playing the lead character of that mindfucker of a series, Severance. Jesus, everything is being sent to test me this morning. I went into Hokum with absolutely no bloody clue what I was in for. By the time the film had finished, my brainules, which is a real part of the human anatomy by the way, my brainules, they were full and juicing with fearful satisfaction. Hokum did not let me down. It's one of the few horror films in years that actually creeped me out. Me, a man wearing a clown mask, a man who's possibly eaten both of his pillows as well as a pair of shoes. The film was so effective that I left the cinema and head home, feeling like something had followed me out. Adam Scott plays Ohm Bowman. Ohm, O-H-M, Bowman, a reclusive and grumpy novelist who travels to a remote Irish inn to scatter his parents' ashes. The place is old, quiet, and clearly carrying its own history. From the moment he arrives, the staff warn him about a witch haunting the honeymoon suite, but they say it with the tired tone of people who've given up trying to make it sound dramatic and just accept that this is the norm. As Ohm settles in, the film leans into slow, creeping tension, strange noises, unsettling shadows, and a feeling that the inn is paying attention and watching him. The witch isn't over-explained or shoved in your face. She's treated like part of the inn, something woven into the walls. When a disappearance happens, it's handled quietly without theatrics, and it pushes Ohm into confronting the grief that he brought with him. The film blends folk horror and psychological dread in a way that feels grounded and not flashy. Watching Hokum in the cinema was one of those rare times when I realised I'd stopped analysing the film and just experienced it. It's slow, deliberate, and knew exactly what it was playing at. It doesn't rely on cheap tricks or flashy CGI. It lets the dread build naturally, beckoning you gently into the dark, and you follow. It's been a couple of weeks since I watched Hokum. I really wanted to marinate, or marinade, or brine, soak, let the film really get into me, and let it all settle into my being before coming back to share my thoughts. The plot of Hokum is simple, and it's handled with restraint. There's a thread of alcoholism running through Ohm and his dead dad, cycles of trauma and grief, and I might touch on some of that, but this video is more about my experience with the film than a deep dive into the themes. I'll leave that for other YouTubers who specialise in that sort of thing. Ohm arrives at the inn carrying grief and emotional exhaustion. The inn feels like it's been waiting for him, waiting for his curmudgeonly strange face to arrive. I mean, seriously though, look at Adam Scott's face. I can't tell if he's a handsome fella or just odd or maybe oddly handsome. Anyway, Adam Scott's character is an absolute dick at the beginning of this film. Not in a cartoonish way, just that believable, quietly selfish, emotionally shut down kind of way that makes you want to tell him to stop being the absolute
maybe I could bring in my son's book and you could sign it for him.
No. It works for the story, but Christ, he is difficult to root for as a main character. But he's a man clearly at the end of his rope. He's burnt out, he's tired, he's perpetually hungover, and he clearly doesn't want to be in the inn. He just wants to get his latest story written, which we get a glimpse of, bookending the film in fact. And even though it's brief, It gives a sharp insight into Ohm's headspace. Hokum really shines in its atmosphere. The inn feels alive and foreboding. It creaks and strains like it's breathing. The corridors hiding spooky bastards around its corners, just out of sight. It's claustrophobic and close. You find yourself holding your breath, not wanting to draw the attention of the witch, or whatever else could be lurking there. Complementing the incredible set pieces is the sound. Its design is incredible. Small noises, distant movement, heavy silence that feels loud and ominous. Everything is creaking and straining and silent. So much of the film uses practical effects. Everything feels grounded and tangible in a way that CGI cannot replace. It's one of the few films in many years where the atmosphere actually got under my skin. When Ohm finally finds himself in the honeymoon suite, the witch's realm, everything it's been teasing through sound and set design suddenly ramps up. Some of the camera angles had me leaning forward to look around the corner, or doing the complete opposite and trying to avoid seeing whatever might jump out. And on the subject of jump scares, this film has them in abundance. It even throws in what I'd call a double jump scare. I genuinely thought that there was some unspoken rule that you had to leave a respectful cooling off period between jump scares, like a courtesy buffer or something. Apparently not. Hokum just fires them at you like it's just trying to kill you. And when it comes to the witch, Jesus fucking Christ. On paper, a witch doesn't sound scary. Not to someone like me anyway. If I'm being honest, when someone casually asks, as they often do, "Peas, which witch are you thinking of right now?" my brain doesn't go to folklore or mythology. No, it immediately coughs up grot bags, the Hocus Pocus trio, and the naked forest witches from The Witch, which says more about me than it does about witchcraft. The witch in Hokum, she's not like those. She's certainly not floating about butt naked or singing songs with green skin and a massive gold wand with a finger at the end of it. She's never held in shot for long. She lives in the shadows and silhouettes. Her movements are graceful, deliberate, and deeply sinister. The exact shape and form your brain conjures when someone specifically says, "creepy ancient witch in a dark room." And when the film first says that she haunts the honeymoon suite, I thought the word didn't quite fit. Haunt. Then we see her. Then Ohm gets trapped in that room, and suddenly haunt becomes the only word that makes sense. And it isn't just the honeymoon suite that she clings to. It's everything and everyone unlucky enough to end up inside it. There's a thread involving psychedelics in the film, and it makes you question how much of what you saw was literal and how much was something else. The film never spoon feeds you an answer, and I bloody love that. The title Hokum adds another layer to that uncertainty. The word itself means nonsense, trickery, something fake, which is a perfect bit of misdirection. It hints that maybe things didn't happen the way that we witnessed them, that Ohm has essentially become an unreliable narrator. Or maybe the title is there to make us lower our guard, to make us think that what we're seeing isn't real, when it absolutely is. We let our guard down, and that's what lets the witch in. And before I finish up, I can't leave without mentioning Jack the Donkey. In a film that's already frightening enough with its ambiguous witch and creepy dread, throwing this sinister bastard into the mix felt like a beautiful garnish. He appears for moments, but when he does, he brings this weird, unsettling energy that sticks with you. I would not be surprised if he starts popping up at Halloween parties or in fan-made horror shorts. He's got that instant cult character vibe. I give Hokum an 8 out of 10. It's confident, atmospheric, and quietly disturbing. It doesn't rush. It doesn't beg for your attention. It just follows you around, sitting in the corner of your bedroom, smiling as you try to sleep. Have you seen Hokum? If you have, I'd love to know what you made of it. And if you've watched something recently that actually managed to get under your skin, or you've got a recommendation for me to cover next, throw it into the comments and let me have a little chew on it. Thank you so much for watching, you beautiful creature. Consider subscribing, following, commenting, because I would absolutely haunt your hallway if I could. Now, I'm off to check every door in my house twice and draw salt circles around my bed. Peace be with you, always.